Welcome to Everyday Life. Thank you for joining our podcast, Conversations Over Coffee. I'm your host. My name is Jen, or if you know me from the gaming community, my name is Jaylyn.
And I'm Dagda.
We're just a couple of smart-ass Gen Xers who conversate about everything from assholes and adulting to, I don't know, zombies and zero fucks.
You're supposed to say from comics to the coming apocalypse.
Oh, that's right. Here's the point where I give you the explicit content warning because we have mature language and sometimes mature conversations, i.e. we cuss a lot. So you've been officially warned.
I'm an angel. I never fucking cuss.
Oh, okay. All right, so now that that's all done, how about you grab your drink and we'll get after it. You want to go?
Sure.
Let's go.
You know who made it?
No.
No. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
So, hi everybody. Welcome back.
Hey now.
We're probably going to be in into October-ish by the time this comes out, which is good because the all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray.
California dreaming.
Well, we're Pacific Northwest dreaming at this point, but and I'm okay with that. I'd rather not be in California.
Yes, very much so.
Agreed.
Would you like to live in California?
No.
Not interested.
Hard pass.
There are many places in this country where I wouldn't mind living.
Yes.
California is absolutely. Although there was a dude who used to give commencement speeches at colleges.
Okay.
And somebody took, because I don't know, he's a font of wisdom. But anyway, somebody took a whole bunch of them and spliced them together, like words of wisdom of this dude. I don't remember who it was. But one of the things he was saying is everybody should live in San Francisco once, but leave before they become soft. And everybody should live in New York City once, but leave before it makes you hard. It was kind of interesting. It
is very interesting because I'd last not even a day in either place.
I mean, I visited down there one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't want to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
Because if my one friend listens, he will get upset.
Oh. Cruise control?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know why he would get upset because you talk so nicely about him.
It's not that. It's the memory of who we were with.
Oh, okay. Then we won't go there.
Anyway, it was interesting to be down there. It was an interesting place to visit. We were only there for 2 days, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I don't San Francisco. Every time I think of San Francisco, there's three things I think of: Full House. Everywhere you look, right? So Full House. And then I think of the San Francisco treat, ding ding, rice-a-roni, which as an adult I know is not true. I know what the San Francisco treat is now. It's not rice-a-roni. And then the other thing I think of is that big looping hill they show in Mrs. Doubtfire and all that.
We went down that.
I'm fuck that hill. My knees, just thinking about it, both my knees are on fire going, fuck off. You can go fuck yourself with that. And then when I think of New York, I think of New York City, that fucking old Pace salsa commercial.
Yeah.
And it's just
made in San Antonio.
Yeah, just no. It's not for me. But I do know people in California. I know people from California. I actually have a member of my family was born in California. So shameful. But anyways, I know people in New York, Indiana, Illinois. I think I'm saying that wrong. I think it's supposed to be Illinois, not Illinois.
Yeah, I think most people refer to it as Illinois.
I've always called it Illinois.
And that's kind of how it's spelled, right?
Well, because it's Chicago. They're loud. So they're Illinois. Anyways, I don't know. It just was. So if I could live anywhere, and this is a huge compliment to my show me state friends, if I could live anywhere and still have instant access to my mother, because I love hi mommy, I love my mommy so much.
Hello mommy.
Hi mommy. I know, right? I kiss my mother. I kiss her every time I see her too. And my mom does this pursed lipped thing that she gets from my grandmother. It's not you know what I mean? She's always done this pursed lipped thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Anyways,
Fucking weirdo.
like when somebody kisses like so Miss Karen at the store, when we kiss each other's cheeks, it's very soft, it's very supple, it's very sweet, it's very, mwah.
It's very European.
Very much. So she might be, I don't know. She looks Norwegian to me. Whatever, same thing.
Yes.
Anyways,
Norwegians are Europeans.
I would 100% hands down love to live near Lee Summit, Blue Springs, not Independence. Independence, Missouri kind of scared the shit out of me. No, it really did. Like I've got a picture where me and Papa went and had lunch at a pizza place, and across the street is this huge gun store, and it's not like here. There's like no fucking bars on anything. It's literally, I think somebody fucking lives there, like an old timey person, like, get ahead, try to rob us. No thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to live in a gun store. That'd be cool. Like that old one that it's been torn down now, but it's been replaced by fucking...
Oh, those shitty ass looking apartments.
Yeah.
God.
Like that one had an apartment up on top of it.
Yeah.
I would have loved to fucking live there.
Right? Let the apocalypse happen now, bitch.
Exactly.
But they also had grates and everything covering their windows.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I was in there one time and it actually scared me because it was like...
That place was kind of a clusterfuck.
It really was. And it wasn't, it's like sometimes you see that shady ass place in the fucking movies and they're like, what you want? What you looking for? And it's just like, I just want to see your Rugers, please. They don't carry Rugers. We got Springfields. We got them Glocks. We got some Kimbers. What you looking for?
Fucking Kimbers.
Like, it was so dark in there, I couldn't see shit.
And it was like so packed. There was barely room to walk down the aisles.
I like went in right after they opened one day and it was so dark. It was just so dark. And it was just like, and I felt creepy. And, and then they moved out to the city where we used to work.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and you go in there and they are just a bunch of tactical assholes. I don't have a nicer way to say it. If you're going in just to browse, like I was at the time when I was looking for my first sidearm, right? Mm-hmm. And I went in and I wanted to look around and everything. Like they kept trying to get me to look in the Kimber case. Okay, for you people out there who do not know about firearms, Kimbers, you can buy a car cheaper than you can get a Kimber sometimes. Okay, just saying. Anyways, and I was just like, no, I really just want to look around. And there was two guys and I felt like they were trying to fucking bully me almost. And my partner was just like, hey, she said she wanted to look around, leave her the fuck alone. They were like, oh, sir, you can't come talk to us like that. And I'm also a believer with there's nothing wrong with buying something used as long as it's been traced and everything. Mm-hmm. And so they had a firearm that I was looking at and it was used and it had all the history, one owner, former military. And that does happen a lot with these military guys. They will actually sell their firearms if they're going to be stationed overseas because they can't take them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the military will issue whatever they need over there. Anyways, but it was like $600. I'm like, that's a lot more than I want to pay. And the guy was just such a douchebag about it. He's like, oh, you're one of those. You can't afford a real firearm. Only here's the thing. I'm classy and I can say firearm, sidearm, and all that. He actually is like, oh, you can't afford a gun. You're looking at the used stuff. You can't really afford a gun. So guess what? We hopped on the freeway, went down to our local Cabela's store down south of us, and guess who got a used firearm for $220 after tax? That right, this bitch here. Yeah. One owner prior, 5,000 rounds through it, but it fires perfectly. Suck it. Anyways, but yeah, they have this shitty apartments there now, and they're still not done 3 years later.
I know, and they didn't even start until like 4 years after they tore down the fucking building.
They've been working on that property for 7 fucking years, I swear.
Yeah.
And it creeps me out because it's like, wait a minute. Well, first of all, they had to, it's kind of like, remember up the road from the shop, they had that old auto parts store that they changed into like a construction facility. It's no longer an auto parts yard. It's like a supply depot now for like gravel and rocks and timber and all that.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So in your house,
it was like a garage. Yeah.
It was actually that was actually a little junkyard.
Yeah.
Where that is at now. So, but there's this thing in your house where like abatement services where they take out your old like shit. It's kind of like the same thing where like you have to let the ground has to be treated a certain way and all that.
Yeah.
And they had to do that at the old gun shop up the road where they're building those apartments now, which doesn't make any sense to me because I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, it depends upon like if they had like a actual legit gunsmith there. They might have had to do something along those lines.
Maybe.
Because some of those chemicals aren't, like the stuff they use for bluing the weapon to keep it from rusting and shit like that. Some of that stuff's kind of.
No, I mean, I get that, but
your
it's
kids playing in the dirt that's been in.
Yeah, it's just so weird because it's just so weird. Like I said, it's been like 7, maybe 8 years, and they're still not done with those fucking apartments. So it's like, bro, what the fuck's going on?
A lot of times around here, it seems like when people take quite a while to finish building a building, it's like, how fucking much mold is going to be in this fucking house just from it being built here when you took so fucking long to like seal it from the fucking weather?
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that's like really predominant in the Pacific Northwest is, first of all, we don't rain 24/7.
No.
But we do have moisture and humidity and cold and hot, and we have every iteration of weather except for snow. Snow's pretty predictable. We only get it about every 7 years.
Well, that depends
Seriously.
on the specific area that you're at, but yeah.
That's true, but for us specifically where we're at, it's every 5 to 7 years is when we'll get a good snowfall, not just a little dusting or whatever where it sticks for like a week and it's like, fuck yes. But I started thinking about it and I'm like, I wonder if the problems that we have with why it takes so long for shit to get demolished, abated, and rebuilt is because of the old smeltering plant that used to be just down the way. It shouldn't affect here, but it is like a 13-mile radius where it affected. The first 10 miles is, and we're literally, where we're at here is only like 6 or 7 miles maybe from it.
Yeah, probably direct line of sight, yeah.
But like, you think about it because they're still settling. They're still like, trust me, they're still working on that shit. And it kind of scares me because I'm just like, well, I don't want to move up to that end of the world because there's, that across the bay and then the other end of things in the point area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I don't know how we got started on this. Anyways, I don't know. It is what it is.
I don't know. I just show up and start gapping.
Right. We just do that jibba-ja. That's what we do, which is a pretty normal thing for us because we'd pretty much on Mondays we'd start jibber jabbered when I'd pick you up for work since we live in the same neighborhood. I'm nice. I didn't always make him ride the bus or whatever. Sometimes I'd give him rides. So about 7 o'clock in the morning we'd get together 7:15, go get some coffee, and we'd start jibber jabbering then, and it lasted all the way until the end of the week. So that's just how we do. Anyways, so I'd read this article recently. Perfect, talking about firearms and stuff. And it was so crazy to me because I read this article, and as somebody who believes the apocalypse is a true and real thing that will happen probably in my lifetime, hopefully before I'm like can no longer stand up straight. But there's this article done by this lady named Jennifer King, and it's called 13 Emergency Preparedness Items Everyone Should Have. And I read this article and I was like, okay. But I realized they missed things. And the thing about it is that not everybody would agree with me that things were missed. But as somebody who firmly believes in the apocalypse or prays for it routinely, I think they missed stuff. So she said, so here was her take, and we'll see what I'll tell you what she said, and I'll tell you what I said, and you tell me if you got anything to add. How does that sound?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so she said, water, prepare with 1 gallon per person per day. Cool, that's good advice. But I'm a more practical person, and I went, get your ass a life straw and have a rain barrel. A life straw is going to cut out the problems of running out of water because you can drink your own urine if you need to.
No, don't do that.
Oh, come on. It'll only make them a little sick. No, but like, honestly, one gallon per person per day, that sounds very reasonable to me. But I also think you should have a rain barrel. If you can, you should have a rain barrel on your property to collect, especially if you're in the Pacific Northwest, you can do it. Although they restrict how many you can have on your property.
Yeah, I know that fucking pissed me off when I learned that.
That is so fucking stupid because it's like, seriously, motherfuckers. I mean, I get that it's only like, I don't know, $10 or something for like 700 gallons, but come on, bitch. Some of us need to save some money. Yeah. Anyways, but I also thought a life straw would be a very practical thing because if something happens and an apocalyptic event does happen, there is no way you're going to fucking tote around gallons of water. You need to have something that can travel light with you to keep you protected.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to get is like giardia or fucking the craps from drinking shitty ass puddle water.
Dagda has died from what the fuck was that?
Dysentery.
Dysentery.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Oregon Trail.
how many days did you make it? 3?
Probably.
Okay, so the next thing she addresses is the food supply and non-perishable specifically. So she says, look at having ready to eat meats, fruits, vegetables, peanut butter bars, and peanut butter and protein bars. And obviously, it's up to your discretion what you think you should have, quantity wise. And I was just like, okay, cool. Beef jerky, that's good. Fruit leather, that's good. Or even canned or jarred fruit, that's, good. Protein bars, that's good. Peanut butter, that's good. Peanut butter is one of the most satiating foods out there, and it does pack a lot of protein, but it also packs a lot of calories. So if you end up getting in that apocalypse where you're not going to get out of your house for a few months, you might not want to eat that much peanut butter because your ass will get way fatter than it already is. But I thought oatmeal pouches, they last way beyond their expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a satiating, it's a filling food, and it's got some base nutrition for you. There are pre-packed MRE kits out there. You can actually buy a case of MREs. They're very affordable and they last a very long time. And generally speaking, they're lightweight enough. You can throw a few in a bag if you had to bug out, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I thought that, because the article itself said the food and the food supply, that kind of thing. Here's something I will say. Paper towels, paper napkin, and hand sanitizers have to be a must in any home. Have to be a must in any home. If you lose your water supply, sanitation is such,
Yeah.
Because, think about it. If something happens, right? Say we have like the earthquake that happened back in California, in the early 1900s?
Yeah.
Not 90s, the 1900s.
I was thinking about the one that I can't remember what they called it. Basically, it was a giant bridge, but it was just a freeway. Where they had multiple levels of freeway and it all collapsed.
Yeah,
that was like in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I was thinking of the big one that was like 7% of the populace died because it was like a 7.9 magnitude or something, early 1800s or whatever. Actually, I think it happened in San Francisco, if I'm going to be honest, but I don't know because I'm not looking. I have the desktop turned off to avoid interference. So anyways, sanitation's important. And the reason I say that is because think about that. So if something happens and your bathroom supply and all that, your bathroom water and all that, it runs out. Like, dude, you're going to be deucing in a bag. And everybody's had that poo after eating weird food that's kind of runny. You don't want to be walking around with shit on your fingers. You ain't got no place to wash it.
Why not?
Because we don't want that kind of flavor.
As I lick my finger. Yeah.
Right.
Any fucking way. Not about that kind of flavor around here.
But there is one thing I do want to say about water. Having said that, there are some survivalists out there that'll tell you that if you're going to be in an urban area and something's happening, make sure you put a stopper in your tub and fill your tub up with as much water as you can immediately.
Yes.
Which, is great. Now, how do you keep it from getting too contaminated? You would then take like plastic sheeting or plastic bags and cover your water up to make sure any bioparticles don't fall in there. So
that's if you don't have one of they make actually this big blivet that you put in your bathtub.
Right.
And then you just put it straight up to the faucet and fill it up.
Right.
They make those. But if you don't have something along those lines, even just putting water into your bathtub is a good place to start. But
yeah, like, so out in the garage here in the house that I rent, there I think there's still an old fridge in there. That'd be the first thing I'd like in a big apocalyptic situation. I'd be tipping that bitch over, making sure that it's empty, throwing it out in the yard, tipping it over, and filling that bitch up with some water too, before we lost a lot of water supplies, because it's a completely enclosed area. It seals. It's not going to get contaminants in it, period. So yeah. Any other thoughts about food supplies?
I mean, canned food, Obviously, it lasts for a long time. That's why it's canned. Freezer, that would be an issue because it's the electricity's going to assume that that's going to go out unless you have solar panels, and even those aren't necessarily, like, if we get hit with an EMP and that's the reason shit's going down,
Right.
then unless you have a backup, that's not going to be really a option for very long.
Right.
So you'll need to eat the stuff out of that really fast. Well, you'll want to start with the refrigerator,
Right.
and then the freezer, and then, I mean, there's a bunch of places that sell like the freeze-dried food.
Right.
And it's kind of expensive, but not really.
Yeah.
So just like with the MREs, but the freeze-dried stuff that has like a 25-year shelf life, something like that.
Right.
Whereas the MREs, I believe it's only 3 years that they're guaranteed for.
Oh, there's longer than that.
I mean,
Military issued MREs are like 10 years or 20 years or something.
No.
Not literally.
It's only like 3 year shelf life. That's what the manufacturer recommended thing is, for like 3 or 4 years. But it will last longer than that.
Yes.
However, the quality of it will drastically go down.
Who the fuck cares about the quality if you're starving to death?
I mean,
It's like, oh, this is supposed to be mac and cheese and it tastes like shoe leather. Who gives a fuck? I've got calories. I live one more day. Sorry. You kind of have to put it in that perspective. I have packed so many MREs for the military, and it's like so crazy because it's just like literally there was a house where I packed 10 cases of MREs, and each case holds 24 meals. I think there I think the ones I packed, was it 24? It was either 12 or 24. It was a lot, but
the basic box holds 12.
Yeah.
I do.
So
yeah,
they had 2 different kinds of boxes, and one held 24, and it was a pretty big box, and the other one had 12. Either way, one of them said it didn't expire till 2028, and this was in 2020, and then the other one said it didn't expire till 2030. So I don't know. It's like Twinkies. Do they ever really go bad? I mean, I think Twinkies are already disgusting as it is.
They do. But
hey, botulism. I mean, people stick it in their bodies all the time. What the fuck's the difference, right? Anyways, but people can also look at getting beans and
rice. Yeah,
beans and rice. Put them in a vacuum seal them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's little prep things that people can do to make their lives a lot simpler. You can literally, if you're going to invest in your own safety and fortune, when the zombies rise, when they come to get you, when it's time for the apocalypse to happen, people can literally invest in pre-measured bag sizes and literally just bag them out for, like, you would normally cook 2 cups of rice at a time. Do that, because what you want to look at having your portion sizes and vacuum sealing them, you want to have them as portable portion sizes. It is not reasonable to buy a 25-pound bag of rice or beans and think you're going to shove that into a backpack and get away. There's choices you have to make.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of people, like, we have a game plan in our household. We have a game plan. We know, right? My partner and I have a game plan, 15 minutes to bug out. That's what we get. I know what to grab. My job is to grab clothing. And, well, my job is to put the foods in the basket and then grab the clothing and then hit the garage and grab everything there and start shoving it in. His is to deal with the necessities of life that come after.
Yeah.
And we just leave it at that, which I keep telling him, you have to stop where you're at, because right now it's like, trust me, I've seen the list and it's just like, so we have to change how we do things. And it was funny because the last time him and I talked about it, it's probably been a couple years, but I was just like, you realize that this is an unreasonable amount of weight for me to try to get in that vehicle in 15 minutes. And it was just like, well, Dagda's coming, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, tell his dumb ass to get here first, and then him and I can do this. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because there's plenty of room. And not to mention that the tub I have, like, the camp gear in can be strapped to the roof of the SUV. It's all good. Right. So, but beans, rice, lentils. Oh my God. Liam Layton would say lentils, but look at vacuum sealing it into portable sizes, not only in portable sizes, but looking at vacuum and sealing it into the portion sizes you want to create, because if we have no power, you can't re-vacuum seal it. So then you're just exposing it to the air, and then it's just going to go stale. And that's one thing that will happen with grains is they'll fucking make you sick. If you eat them when they're stale, they can make you sick. You have to be careful. So anyways, so then this lady says, make sure you have a basic first aid kit and whistle. And I'm like, okay, that's reasonable. But I think people also need to make sure that they have, just to make life simple, because when you're in that apocalyptic situation, right? And you're in a hurry the fuck up situation, you need to have a tourniquet handy, which does not come in a lot of standard first aid kits. I believe mine does have it.
Yeah, it's
but
pretty uncommon for them to be in a standard first aid kit unless you're getting something that was meant specifically for like at a firing range or something like that.
Yeah.
For the police or something where they're going to be dealing with gunshot wounds and stuff like that.
Right. Now for me, I'm thinking of the slicing of the body, like tourniquet important. But so I added tourniquet, right? And if you don't know how to make a tourniquet on your own, go to YouTube now and watch a 5-minute video or download it to your phone for future use. Because everybody should have a tourniquet handed to them or be able to, I could make a tourniquet out of a bunch of stuff in this office, obviously.
I have a belt that'll work for that.
Right. But a lot of people don't understand, literally you could have a belt, you could have part of a shirt, and you just need a little bit and be able to apply that pressure.
Electric cord, some rope.
Oh, if I'm going to go electric cord,
cord,
I'm going to like fucking put it around their necks and tell them to quit crying about how bad it hurts. But that's just me. Anyway, tourniquet. So then I also thought pre-threaded needles or sutures.
Okay.
That would be a big time saver. And of course, I don't know if you've noticed it, but the older I'm getting, the harder it is to see the eye of the needle. No matter how good my vision tests have come out. Last time I had to thread a needle, I got so frustrated because there was still a little piece of thread in the eye of the needle. And I was like, I'm just going to try to pass it through together. And what I did is I took that little piece of thread that was still there and I tied it to the new thread and I pulled it through.
Wow.
Because I couldn't see the eye of the needle, even though my vision is super good. It's just so minuscule. And not only that, I had my big light, my big pink light I have around here somewhere, wherever the fuck it is. My big flashlight. I had that on so that I could see it even better. So anyway.
Yeah.
And then of course, maybe have some baby aspirin or baby aspirin. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Aspirin?
Yes, or low dose aspirin.
Talking about Astroglide. I'm like,
no, baby and Astroglide do not go in the same.
Some KY jelly.
Dead. Anyways, baby aspirin or low dose aspirin. For them heart attack moments, because it's bound to happen. So, anyways, next. Fucking drink. So they're saying you should have a 72-hour emergency backpack allowed, and it should include, and you can pick them up as an all-inclusive. Here's the thing. When I read through, I looked up 4 different all-inclusive emergency backpacks, and they were all definitely lacking the same basic things. And that was a sanitizer, wipes, a fire starter material, a life straw or something similar, a way to filter your water, a pair of dry socks. None of them came with any kind of dry socks, which, from your military days, clean dry socks are an important thing to have routinely.
Well, the problem with any article of clothing is that it's not going to be as universal. So you basically would buy the kit and then you would add clothing articles to it, because it's probably just got like, maybe a shelter, some food, maybe a first aid kit.
It was like every one of them I saw had like an emergency blanket, 3 days worth of pouch food. Yeah.
Freeze-dried food.
And it was like, and literally the first aid kits were like 6 Band-Aids and some cream.
It's
and
basically a boo-boo kit.
I was just like, wow, and it really, there's a lot of preppers out there who sell their own lines of stuff. And I'm like, I'm like, you know,
expensive.
Yeah, like one of them that I looked at that was a lot closer to what I would consider a proper go bag was like 400 or like between $400 and $500. And I about shit myself. And I started thinking about like my go bag. And I'm like, that whole thing was put together a few years ago for under $100 and had way more stuff in it than that. And that's because my partner and we both tag teamed it. And we tag team getting the items together based on the importance of conversations and research and all that. And it was just like, even, you know, I even have quick grab like carabiners and all that kind of stuff. So there's all these little things that are missing. And it's just like, yo, I think they're trying to dumb us down for the apocalypse so that like the weak die quick.
I doubt they're actually bothering with all that. They're just trying to make money.
Yeah, I was really disappointed at some of the bags I saw, like $2.99 3-day survival kit. And it had a gallon of water, 9 pouches of food, and it had a basic, literally like a basic Johnson & Johnson first aid kit, which literally has like a dozen bandages, 4 gauze pads, 4 packets. And I do mean packets, not tubes, but packets of like, antibiotic creams and like 4 or 12 somewhere between 4 and 12 alcohol pads. And I'm just like, and it came with 2 emergency candles and 1 crank radio. And I was like,
and that was for $300.
It was $299.75 on sale. And there was something else that was in there. Oh yeah. It had an emergency poncho and an emergency blanket. And I started looking everything up and I'm like, okay, so they went and bought all this shit for $35 and they most likely, because they're selling these giant kits, they most likely bought it in multiplicity. So the $300 they invested in turn probably turned into 12 packs for them to sell, which, you know, basic business. Hey, yeah, that's fucking money, right?
Yeah.
Bro, cool. But it's just like, that's not the basic business principle that you want to, you know, really make money on because it'll turn people away. I mean, sheep, they have plenty of sheeple. They have plenty of sheeple for that. You're smarter just to do the fucking research yourself and go buy stuff. Because if I'm going to spend $300 on a go bag, I'm going to make sure it's worth my money. I'm going to make sure I have the things that I know that are super important to have, like a full size first aid kit, fire starting materials, this, that, and the other, you know. So I'm going to make sure I have all that shit. Don't try to sell me that shit because you carry 9 pouches of food. Fuck off with that noise. Anyways.
And it's, I mean, 9 pouches of food. Okay, so each pouch is like 1 meal. So.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be the thing. And I don't think anybody takes into consideration that, yeah, there's going to be people out there that are like, oh no, I should have 3 square meals a day. Fuck that. You can function. Your body can literally function on 1,200 calories a day for like a week. So, you know, 9 pouches, that's like 9 days worth of food, especially if each pouch is 1,000 calories or so.
Let's face it, most Americans can go several days without eating and survive.
That's correct. I had actually said a few episodes ago, I've done the research. I can go 48 hours of fasting and not worry about putting any proteins in my body. And then I actually corrected it like a couple episodes after that because it's actually true and factual. I can go 72 hours. Like my body says, you don't have to eat food for 72 hours. You don't have to have protein for 72 hours. You can go into a fasting stasis for 72 hours, but you have to have your fluids. You got to have water. You got to have liquids.
Yeah, you can't survive more than maybe 2 days most. And that's in fucking the perfect circumstances for not fucking drinking any water.
Yeah, because the thing that happens when you start to dehydrate is you start making really bad fucking choices.
I mean, the same thing happens when you haven't had food for a while, but I don't know. A lot of people nowadays are so used to eating constantly, that the effects will be worse faster. But going a week without food for most Americans is actually way easier done than most Americans could probably survive 30 days easy without any food. Yeah. As long as they were getting plenty of water.
Yes. And they've actually shown that time and time again on the survival shows where they're just like, here, you get, like, literally, there's one that I've seen and they're just like, you get a pot and you get a set of matches or a flint or whatever. You have to they give them all the instructions they need for boiling their water or whatever, making sure their water is it's potable water to drink. And Yeah. And time and again, it's just like they don't start worrying until they don't start giving out food until about the 14 to 21 day mark where they're like, oh, you're getting a food drop today.
Well, I think the longest anyone has ever gone without eating, recorded, was almost a year. It was 200 and some odd days.
Yeah.
Although this person was obviously very, very obese. And they were under strict doctor supervision. So they were also getting plenty of water and they were getting vitamins.
Yeah.
But they lived for almost a year without eating anything.
Yeah.
And then I think the next longest one was like 180 days or something.
Yeah.
Similar situation.
Yeah. Like not the average obese person, but a person that's within could be overweight, but closer to normal ranges. Now they need to understand they can't go for 6 or 9 months without food. They cannot do that. Their body, once they get rid of their excess fat, which even guys who are like, say like you're 215 pounds. I know you're not, don't take it that way. But if you were like 215 pounds at your height, your body says, I'm much healthier at 165. So you have a ways to go. So you'd probably burn, especially with the amount of exercise you actually do, you'd probably be okay for like 6 weeks before you really start fucking with you bad.
Yeah.
But you also have to take into consideration diabetes and anything else, like any other pre-existing health conditions. So don't just quit eating food. Consult your doctor if you want to do a fasting thing. It's not something I would recommend you just do lightly without research.
Yeah, obviously, like what I had said, both of those people were under strict doctor's supervision and were given fucking...
Well, the last thing you want is somebody going, but Dagda said I could go 280 days without food. That's not what Dagda said. No. And we've got it recorded that Dagda didn't say that. Anyways, so on to the next thing, because, this is probably this is fascinating to you and I, but it's not probably fascinating to the average person. And that's okay, because you can fucking suck it. It's our podcast. We can talk about it if we want to. Meh. Sorry, I'm really not a bitch all the time. It's just been a hell of a day. So flashlight and hand crank radios, which, by the way, you can get a hand crank radio for under $40 online.
Oh, yeah.
You can get them so cheap.
I got mine for 20 something.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would say is like the flashlight I have that actually has the built-in USB port, because it's a cell charger, and it also it's magnetic. So it'll stick on the side of a car, metal building. And it's got the emergency lights to it, and it is solar and it is rechargeable. Does it recharge your cell phone quickly? Nope. It does not. It's a very slow charge. But here's the thing. When we talk about going into the apocalypse, right? Because it's going to happen someday. Do I sound happy about that? I think there's this joyous part of me. Like, I know there's some assholes in this world who have been total fucking dirty dick faces to me because of one thing or another, or I haven't just bent to their will or whatever. And like, I'm like super excited. Like, oh, what's that? Oh, you don't know how to garden and create your own food? Oh, you don't know how to sell your own clothes? Oh, you don't know how to build a shelter? Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm not really sad, but I just can't wait for some people to get their fucking comeuppance.
I mean, some of those people are going to become raiders.
They're going to think they're going to become raiders. And there's going to be like, oh, you told me I was a girl and I couldn't use a firearm. Guess what? Wrong. Anyways. Meh. But I like the fact that you can download many things, many instructionals. So it'll actually be really important to try to keep your cell phone and where you can charge it, not because you're going to have internet or a cell phone to work like that, but because it'll be your database. It'll be really, it will become a portable database for like medical procedures, plant identification, and all of that, which is one thing I've never understood in all these different zombie shows, all these different apocalypse movies. Is like they immediately throw away their devices. They're not worried about it anymore. There's only one character I actually saw who carried around a cell phone, and that was in The Walking Dead, and the gal's name was Olivia, and she just keeps it, she goes, out of habit. And I'm like, okay, that's great, but let's change that culture and that idea. So like, don't just keep it out of habit. Think about the fact that if the world's going to go to shit, download Wikipedia, download medical books, download stuff onto your phone, have your database, find a way to charge it, right?
Yeah.
Personal hygiene. This is a big thing. Again, if you're stuck in the house and you have no water flow, you got to think about how stuff happens. I mean, you could be like your dog if you have it. You can go crap in the yard. Sure, cool. But I happen to know that it's probably a better idea to have some, I don't know, poopy pup bags, some puppy poop bags, right? And probably maybe even some garbage bags for those heavy days. And definitely some kind of cat litter because it cuts down on the odor, it cuts down the insect activity, and you definitely don't want to just leave it laying around, right? You want to make sure you close it up because nobody wants to smell that shit.
Yeah, even like, so I was actually watching a thing on toilets.
Mm-hmm.
It was several years ago, but they were going around to different countries and whatnot. One of the places they went to was in England.
Right.
And this particular family, even though they're in England, they're out in the countryside, and they still don't have running water they don't have a running water toilet.
Okay.
They basically have an outhouse, although it's not really as part of the house, but
okay.
And they do it just like they did back in like the fucking Elizabethan era.
Okay.
Where it's basically this big brick structure.
Mm-hmm.
And when they go to the bathroom, they then like throw in some
sawdust.
Well, it's not sawdust. It's for them because they're on a farm.
Okay.
It's like hay. They
Okay.
throw in some hay and then they put paper over it.
Yeah.
And then basically all that gets taken out of there. They shuffle it out every so often and put it in essentially a what the fuck is that called? Usually people have it with just plant material.
Compost.
A compost pile, yeah.
Yeah. My grandpa, my dad's dad, when he cleaned out the chicken coop, because he didn't clean it out all the time, but when he cleaned it out, it was when we were turning the compost. So grass clippings, food clippings, like we used to keep a 5-gallon bucket in the kitchen for like food scraps, potatoes and all that. Some of the stuff we'd throw to the ducks and the chickens and the geese, and the rest of it would just get put in the scrap pile. And I'll tell you what, them ducks did not like it when you put a crabapple core in their food. They didn't like you for that very much. They'd chase you around. I have a younger sibling who got chased more than once for throwing crabapple cores into a goose pen. Yeah, so I think people should think about the sanitation, especially if you're like, say something happens, like something dramatic happens, right? And you're stuck in your house, no running water, you're going to have to shit at some point.
What?
You're gonna have to take a crap. You need to make sure you're able to secure that in a bag. Because if you can't get out of your house and you can't open the windows, and you're going to suffocate. You're going to get fucking gassed the fuck out, especially in this house if I eat too many eggs. I'll tell you that right now. Anyways, dust mask. So she recommends dust mask. And here's the thing. I hate the fact when they're like, you need to go out and get an N95 dust mask. It's the only mask that'll do. I hate that because people can't afford that, right? So you kind of got to work with what's on hand. And the key with any kind of face mask is layering. You should have polyester and cotton. And I only know because I had to make them during COVID because you couldn't find them anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But so you can take get pre-made masks and you can make it out of the thing is about layering it or quilting it. Okay. So you can do like terry cloth, quilting cotton, flannel, but you have to do it in multiple layers. So that's one thing they don't tell you. A lot of times you just see people like tie a bandana around their face in these different shows and everything. And it's just like, no, you've got to filtrate it. So,
I mean, it depends upon what you're trying to do. Like a bandana does work.
For just dust, maybe. But most people's noses aren't flat enough for that. And most people can't handle having that mask all the way up to their eyes.
Yeah.
Because, we're all fucking pussies. I don't mean that. Okay, but yeah, solar power source is one thing they recommend, that if you don't have a solar bank, find a way to get a solar bank. Or if you're really super fucking smart like this asshole over here, you know how to do it. He just knows. He knows how to make it. Fucking dick. That's why we claimed him and we dibbed him for the apocalypse, because
I'm not the professor.
You're pretty fucking close, though, if you think about it.
No.
Yes, your brain does work that way, where you can go, well, you see, now when we're talking about a real life situation, we plug it into the AC and the DC. Now, if we look at the knot, if we daisy chain 12 batteries and throw nine potatoes on it, and it's exactly midnight sun, then, we got it.
You forgot the lemon.
Well, we're not in a citrus state, so we might be fucked there. So one other idea I had about that was you can actually get a solar bank that has a hand crank, so your hand generating power for short bursts of power, which will be really handy for, especially unfortunately, this is the byproduct of the apocalypse and everything. There's going to be nursing moms out there and all that, and they need to preserve their milk and shit. So even if you got one fucking kid that you beat with a rod to make sure they're cranking that hand crank to keep your little refrigeration unit cold, that's what you got to do.
Now they're going to bring back the wet nurse.
I just want to vomit. Oh my God.
What? Breastfeeding is completely natural.
At my age, that's not what boobies are for. At my age.
I didn't say that you needed to fucking volunteer.
I don't want to see it either. I mean, I don't have anything against anybody who's breastfeeding, but I don't want to see people sitting on the side of the road whipping a tit out.
You're going to need to learn to fucking deal with some shit.
Why do you think I'm going to fucking probably poke my eyes out? Actually, why do you think we're going to be going to a non-populated area? Well, we know. Okay, look, we're not going to give it away, right? But we know where we need to go first.
Give it away now.
No. And I know we have to go about 3 miles south, and then we got to work our way back. So while we're 3 miles south doing what we need to do, working our way back, we'll have at least one or two other people gathering everything, getting it ready to load. And then when we come back, so it's like an hour round trip thing we got to do, but we already know where we need to go and what we need to get. And we have a just in case. Just saying. That is not a threat to anybody. Anyways, so one of the things she recommends, which I actually thought was really interesting, is a waterproof storage pouch.
Okay, yeah.
And she recommended it because, you're talking about in your home, having your documents and all that. Mm-hmm. And I get it. And I just went, well, they need to look for one that has a fireproof option. Because generally speaking, when I looked at it, most of the fireproof options were also waterproof as well.
I mean, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So the interesting thing that she didn't say that you could keep in this pouch, I added, and I was just like, oh, if you're going to do that, what you should look at doing is keeping some cash in there, even just a couple $100, because guess what? People are still stuck on the idea that money means everything.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the society we are. So you can stash away, once a month, take $20, stash it away. Something happens, stash it in there. Matches, flint matches, something that will help you start a fucking fire. And you want it to keep it dry. Mm-hmm. And you don't want it to just fucking burn up in case you're in a fucking fire. Like, hello. And make sure, in case it's an earthquake that gets us, keep an emergency contact list inside. And if you're keeping that on your person, and make sure most of them that I saw were about the size of a legal pad. And you could fill them up to 1.5 inches thick. Most of the ones I looked at.
Okay.
Anyways. No. Anyways. Okay. So utility tools.
Okay.
Now, when she said utility tools, she literally was talking about for your water main and all of that. And I was just like, okay, that's cool. But I thought about you and your Gerber multi-tool knife kit thing.
Okay.
Your multi-kit.
My multi-tool that I have. Yeah.
Little Dallas multi-pass.
Yeah, the Leatherman, basically, except it's a Gerber.
Yes. So that would be a really good idea. And also, people could look at putting a small toolkit together.
Yeah.
And just simple things that you just keep and it ain't going to fucking hurt anybody to just have.
You want a crowbar. And you want, if you can find one of these, which you can find them online, there's this thing, I can't remember, it's like a key. So, when you're going around downtown or in any city area and there's business buildings,
Okay.
oftentimes there's a little weird faucet looking thing sticking off the side of it.
Yes.
Those have to be there.
Yeah.
It's required.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little special tool that you can use to turn on those.
Yes.
You can get those online.
Yes.
So one of those things, the big one that you would use for your house normally, that one isn't necessarily going to help you in apocalypse situation.
Right.
Unless somebody who's gone around and turned off all of them in the area.
Right.
Which that might happen, but probably not.
Yeah.
In which case, then the water towers would still probably have some water left in them.
Yeah.
And then if you turn it on, then you get water at the house that you're staying at or whatever.
Yeah.
But, these are for less than the apocalypse, basically. So like Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
People, if they had those, they could have gotten water from some of the businesses or whatever that were in the area.
Yeah.
Of course, the problem with that was not having water. It was having potable water.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people go, oh, water is water is water. Okay. Look, unless you're getting it out of your own faucet while your plant is running. Even then, I won't drink our tap water. I won't do it. I will not do it. Everything I drink is, and I'm sorry, I'm not ruining the planet because it's made out of recycled material, but everything I do is either bottled water or filtered water. I just simply will not do. The last time I had a glass of non-filtered water, I had diarrhea for 2 days, and that's not even a fucking joke. Do you know how bad that sucked? Because it was just like I was in the middle of the night and I was just really super thirsty. And we hadn't gone to Costco yet. So it was on a Friday night. We were going to Costco the next day. And I had a glass of water. By the time 9 a.m. hit, I was just like, fuck my life. And I think it's because I'm not used to drinking it. And our water is chlorinated. And I think maybe it still has fluoride in it.
I think so.
But
I'm not sure.
I can smell the chlorine or something. You can smell something. And it could be psychosomatic too. Like, I don't know. I just don't do it. I also don't drink well water. I won't drink anything that's not filtered. I am such a paranoid fucking freak. Like, cause I've literally I've had glasses of, it's literally when I thought back about when I got diarrhea and I thought about like the foods I ate, like, was it something like I've never gotten sick by that food in my entire fucking life before. So it couldn't have been that. Yeah. So I associate it with the water, whatever. Don't care. I'm a freak. I filter everything. That's just me. Batteries and headlamps. Now it's not super convenient to have batteries, but like, look, I have rechargeable batteries, right? And if you have a solar bank and you can recharge it, then you should definitely have some batteries. Make sure you have some kind of activities. You and I would be perfectly fine with like, you'd be fine with your audibles that's on your device.
Yeah, as long as I can charge my phone, I can.
Yeah, you're solid. And me, I'm fine with regular books. And I also don't have a problem, reading a book to somebody if they needed it because they were too lazy to read it themselves or whatever. Make sure you have some activities though.
Yeah, I definitely. Did you know that I have almost 2,000 audiobooks on Audible?
Are any of them Dean Koontz? Because if the apocalypse happened, I'll want to hear those.
I have the first Odd Thomas. That's the only one.
That's a pretty good. Do you know who reads that one? I'm not trying to squirrel because we're so close to.
I don't remember.
We're so close to having an entire episode that it's about what it's supposed to be fucking about. It's so exciting.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is I definitely need to go and download them all.
Yeah.
Download the whole bunch of books that I have.
Oh, yeah. Just download it to a thumb drive that you can attach to your phone, of course.
Yeah. Although it's probably going to be kind of big. But, yeah, 2,000.
256 gig. 256 gig. Don't be taking those. Those are for after dark. But we're not talking about that yet. We're almost through this list. Can you believe it?
Uh-oh.
So other things people need to think about, and I'll do it, and then we can squirrel for a few minutes because so solar compatible rechargeable batteries is what I should say, because there actually is a difference out there.
Okay.
So yeah, anyways, you actually can get rechargeable batteries, solar. I just happened to see it. I think it has to come from China. So, you're going to pay like $93 for a $2 item, whatever. Anyways, so other things to think about keeping around your house or in a go bag or easy to store go bag is if you have pets, create a pet bag for a pet go bag.
Okay.
Most people who have pets, cats or dogs, the dogs, obviously, they can carry their own fucking weight unless they're chihuahuas. And then, they're not going to serve you much purpose, but whatever. But most dogs can actually carry their own, dry food, freeze dry food if you can get it for them in that kind of situation. But dogs and cats both need fresh water every day as well.
Yeah.
So, but if they're a cat, you can put stuff in their carrier. Again, look at freeze-dried food. Once it's freeze-dried, it'll last like 20, 25 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Which...
If it's properly stored, yeah.
If it's properly stored. Glow sticks, a go bag for your pet. It is never too late until you have to walk out the door to either have a pre-made go bag that you have made yourself or put together yourself. It's never too late. Always have a go bag ready. The only thing I need for my to go, literally, I know where my go bag is in the house. I know my responsibilities, and that's literally just grabbing some underpants and socks. And I have stuff ready to just throw into a basket and go.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You don't have to wear granny panties. When we talk about these.
I do.
My God.
Any fucking
dick. Here's the thing. Underpants and socks are two of the most important things that you can have that you need to have clean. And that's for women. It's because you're a vagina, which is, you don't want dirty stuff getting in there. And I mean that,
unless it's an old man. Anyway.
I heard a volunteer for all you single ladies out there. I heard a volunteer right here today. But anyways, and socks, again, if you're in a situation where you're going to be walking a lot, you want to make sure everything's clean and dry. And your recommend for those items are
wool.
There you go. Again, if you have a vacuum sealer, everybody, anymore nowadays, a lot of people have a vacuum sealer or know somebody with a vacuum sealer or has a family member that has a vacuum sealer. And things that you can look at pre-vacuum sealing are like matches, a flint, and vitamins. Pre-packing your own daily vitamins, or even if you do it a week at a time, because I actually found bags where I could use to pre-pack make my own tuna bags for, but I don't like tuna, and it's really fucking hard, and it's very annoying because it takes so long to seal them because of all the moisture there is in tuna. But you could do that, and you could do 2 or 3 days at a time. Yeah. For a couple of people. But those are really important things. The same thing with like your Tylenol, your ibuprofen or whatever. You can get them, you can do them in sets, make it easy, vacuum sealing it, makes them last like a really long time. And my definite number one recommend for any of that would be the emergencies. The packets emergencies, right?
Okay.
Because first of all, you can put it into your water. It'll take away the crappy ass. I just got that with a life straw out of a fucking mud puddle taste, right?
Or boiled. Yeah.
Or boiled. Yeah. It's boiled water has a really weird, it has like a almost tinny taste to it. And then you've got, so you got that, but you also get your vitamins. It's a way to get more vitamins in because that's going to be a huge thing is getting your vitamins in. And not just your vitamin D, you pervs. Just saying.
Get that from exposure.
God. Anyways, so I found it an interesting article, but I also did find it lacking in the fact that I'm just like, wow, as somebody who wants to put out this article and say, this is what you need, I felt like it was just like missing so many things. Like it's like you can literally look over here in the office and see it's not a popular thing, but we have it if we needed it. And that's candles and lighters. We have, not that that's, I mean, I don't need them anymore, but I have them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just the fact that it was hand sanitizer, body wipes, those kind of things that are really important about, hygiene is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because they actually, almost in everything out there, they touch on that. Almost everything in the world, they touch on that. Wash your hands, wash your mouth out and brush your teeth and all that. And it's just like, trust me, if you've ever been in a situation where you've had a tooth go bad and you can't go to a dentist, trust me, you'll pray for death. And helpful hint out there, if you take and crush up aspirin and put it directly on your gums, it will help with the pain. They actually,
Yeah, that makes sense.
They basically make they make the same thing for like your joints. It's called, I'm going to date myself here. I just remember my grandma having it. It's called Aspercream.
I was going to say, yeah.
And that shit will work wonders for migraines, headaches, joint aches, back aches. But you can basically do the same thing. You can make it yourself. As far as putting it in your mouth, you want just the aspirin crushed up and pasted up. You know, it's fantastic. It works really good. Well, because you can't just take the aspirin and put it like, you can't just take a whole aspirin and be like, oh, I found a Tylenol. I'm going to put that on my gum line on top of that. Oh, that's so great. It doesn't work like that. You have to get to the compound in the middle. You gotta pound that shit out. Just saying. Dagda's over there about to sleep. Anyways, I thought it was a good article. I did think it was lacking, though.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to sound like I'm, like, excited for the apocalypse, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the flint and steel thing, most people are better off just getting matches or or lighters.
Yes.
Because the flint and steel thing, it requires a lot more skill than what you might think. Yes. Also, it's not magic. It doesn't just fucking spark and make anything catch on fire. If you're going to be using flint and steel, you need to be using some kind of particular types of it's not really kindling.
Yeah,
it's not to that point.
It's like tinder. It's like tinder because it's like shaved tinder at that.
Well, it's not even that. So with a flint and steel, unless you have extremely rare types of materials around you, you're going to need to create char material.
Yeah.
Because most stuff, if flint and steel, the spark isn't hot enough, nor is it going to last long enough to actually ignite anything like paper, for instance.
Yeah.
Which most people are like, oh, I'll just use paper. That's not going to fucking work. So you have to, if you were doing the tinder the way that our ancestors would have done it, they would basically take some cotton material or something called punk wood, which is a specific, it's rotten wood basically. There's a few other things like chaga. You can do it with chaga. Yeah. The chaga mushroom. But anyway, you have to basically put it in a sealed container, like an Altoids tin, for instance, would work. Right. But something that isn't completely sealed, it has to be able to outgas. And then you put that in the container, then you put it and seal it, and then you put it in the fire, and then you let it sit there, and basically the stuff will smolder in there. Yeah. And then once it's basically all turned to charcoal, then you can use a flint and steel on it, and it will catch a spark and start burning. Yeah. Well, it'll start, it'll turn into a big ember, basically. Yeah. And then you can use that to start a fire. But the flint and steel, unless you fucking know how to do it, you're going to be like, why isn't this fucking grass that I've gathered fucking catching on fire? Right. It's because it's not, you have to fucking have better material, basically. Yeah. The ones that I've seen where it's worked really well on some of the survival shows is where they've literally taken the wood. You know, they've split their wood, and they've literally taken this wood as it's dried out and literally almost peeled it like little pieces of spaghetti. They've peeled the wood layer to layer, and they bundle it up. Are you sure that's not the bark? Because a lot of times they'll peel off the bark and they'll use the inner bark to make a bird's nest like tinder bundle. Yeah, thing. I've seen that, but the ones I've seen most predominantly is where they're literally taking their knife and they're just shaving the inside of the tree, like the guts of the tree. They're actually shaving it that way. So is it fat wood that they were doing that with? The fuck? Do I look like I know everything about wood, motherfucker? So fat wood. When I see fat wood, I fucking go, please no, I can't take all that. Anyway, that's an after dark conversation. The fat wood is basically, it's usually pine or like fir or something with a pitch. Yeah. And basically there's three places that it happens the most often. It's a dead tree that's fallen. Right. And basically the pitch, the blood of the tree basically will settle down to the bottom. Okay. And that area will be impregnated heavily with pitch. And so when you're dealing with that wood, it's like half pitch or something.
Yeah.
And pitch burns really well. So that area, the other way it happens is like in a stump or something where the tree has been cut and that's the last bit of living tree, basically. It'll also happen in like the crook of branches. But basically, it's an area where the pitch has pooled. And so the amount of pitch to the amount of wood is very high.
Yeah.
And so that stuff burns really good. It catches easy and it burns for a real long time because the pitch is burning before the actual wood burns.
Yeah.
And so kind of like a candle, it will fucking burn for quite a while. The other way that you can get it is basically you can manufacture your own. You can take wood and then basically soak it in melted wax. And it has the same effect.
Yeah. Well, on the couple of different survivalist shows I've seen in the last few years, one of them, the guy literally just took a knife and was scraping at the wood until he was getting shavings off. And that worked for him. And, and he kind of did two things. He tried to do like it's not the handsaw, but
it's a drill. It's the hand drill, but it's a hand drill, not a bow drill.
Yeah, it's a hand drill that you do, and
where you're rubbing the stick against the other chunk of wood till it.
Yes. So I'm imagining there's a fair amount of pitch into it because he was doing flint and he was doing that, and between the two of them, he finally got enough, and then he put this on there and it started smoking, and it eventually caught. So that's the one I'm thinking of the most. Yeah. But I've also seen the survival shows where, they've already sent like the bird's nest bundle of all you got to do is get the flint to work and it's fine. So I've seen that. But yeah, I would say most people should probably practice if they're really worried about it. Otherwise, keep a lighter handy. Definitely vacuum seal some matches, because that's one thing that's people don't think a lot about this stuff, but that's going to be a huge commodity in the future. When the apocalypse happens, having the ability to open canned foods cleanly, because who the fuck wants to stab a zombie in the brain and then open a can of peaches? I mean, really, cross-contamination much, dummy? No. Right? And, so matches and can openers. And, you can get a can opener, little can opener, really inexpensive. He's pulling one out of his pocket right now because, of course, he has one with him. But didn't you get that from the military, though?
I bought this separately, but yeah, they have, this is the larger one. I can't remember. It's like one is like the P61 and the other one's like the P38 or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what about this can opener. If somebody's fucking with you, you can take a jugular out with that.
I mean, I've stabbed myself by reaching into my pocket several times. And then I also, on my keychain, so I have the can opener on my keychain. I also have one of those fucking magnesium with a ferrocenium rod built into it. So the only thing other than this that I require to start a fire is my pocket knife. Although I could use can opener because you can scrape off a little bit of the magnesium with the can opener and then strike a spark off of the ferrocenium rod.
Yeah, I have a built-in flint rod on my knife, so
Yeah, I got one of those.
But you say all that smart stuff, and it's not your fault. It's really not your fault. But I instantly think of the Big Bang Theory when they're trying to get that lug nut off that fucking flat tire. And they're like, oh, if we use these rust scrapings and put it on there and then create a spark with the battery, and then it'll just melt right off. And the whole fucking thing. That's literally sometimes when you're talking, I'm just like, stop being so fucking smart around me. God. Oh my God.
See, there's a fucking lighter.
Right.
There's a lighter in my pocket. I don't smoke. I carry it for making fire. And then this thing is a knife sharpener, but it also has a whistle.
Whistle while you work? Sorry.
And another ferrocenium rod.
Yeah, that's what I have on my knife is a ferrocenium rod.
Yeah.
The thing about it is though, if you are not prepared, hopefully today we entertained you and you start thinking about, what do I need to do to be ready for it to come to the apocalypse time? Fuck, I'm like, fuck, before he said anything.
After dark.
Not next episode, we'll give an After Dark update because by then we'll be like mid-October. So we'll do that next. But today, hopefully you learned something and really thought about it. If you have a different ideas on how you're preparing for any type of apocalyptic or emergency event, drop it in the comments because it'd be kind of really interesting to see how similar or differently we all think. Either everybody's on the same page, like, yeah, I can't wait for them fucking zombies, or they're like, well, you know, I did this school report in 1987 that said, if an apocalyptic event happened, the first thing I need to do is get a
Bend over.
yeah. You're going to get somebody who might be like that, but it would be really interesting to hear the other ideas people have. Like me personally, I know how to make beef jerky. If we had any kind of a warning that something weird was coming, trust me, I'll be the first one being like hooking up my food saver and being like, fuck this. I'm fucking vacuum sealing everything so nothing can get wet.
Yeah. One interesting thing is that maybe I'm assuming that the person who wrote this list was assuming the person is going to stay in the city.
I think so. I think so because it was just, it seemed directed at the idea of stay put, shelter in place, that's what they want you to do so they can fucking trick you.
I actually, I'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
so the reason I brought that up is because they didn't talk about the 10 C's of survivability,
right?
Which the 10 C's are kind of, if you're staying in a city,
right?
They're important, but they're not as important because the 10 C's are things that are required for survival, but are very difficult and require a lot of knowledge and skill to make them out of natural materials off the land.
Right.
So they didn't talk about knives. They talked about combustion and lighting, but those two things are both kind of, the combustion is extremely important, but the lighting is not as important. That's like second half of the 10 C's.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a fantastic book out there that everybody should check out. The book is called Emergency by Neil Strauss.
Okay.
And the extended sort of title is Emergency. This book will save your life.
Is it available audibly?
Yes, it's available audibly. At least I assume it still is. This book was written in like the early 2000s, maybe 2010s. And one of the interesting things about the book is that the dude who wrote it, he was a Rolling Stones writer.
Okay.
For the Rolling Stones magazine, and he wrote for some other stuff too, but basically he's just a nerd.
Okay.
And I don't remember what the thing is that kind of made him go do this.
What the catalyst was? Yeah.
Yeah. But so like I said, he was just a nerd, and super into music and stuff, and a writer, and his only experience of like camping even before he got into this whole rabbit hole was that one time when he was like in middle school or something, him and his dad went out to go camping, and like it was a horrible experience. And because like he's a New Yorker, I do believe. Maybe he's from Chicago. I think he's a New Yorker though. And so he grew up in the big city, so fucking nothing. And then he went down a crazy rabbit hole of learning like survival skills. And a lot of the stuff that he did though was like learning first aid and stuff like that.
Right.
And so he like sort of kind of became a first responder almost during this whole process. But yeah, it's very interesting, and it covers like, you know, your typical I'm lost in the woods type survival type stuff.
Right.
Even like tracking and hunting. And even like urban type survival stuff. Which is uncommon. I mean, there are urban survival schools out there. Right. But they're way less common than the sort of woodscraft type survival schools.
Well, I think that's because we're definitely in the Fafo area.
I mean,
honestly, because, you know, here's the things like, so if you look at things generationally, you've got the boomers who are like our parents, and for some of us, our grandparents, right? Don't do this, do that. This is the American dream. Go for that. You have a great proportion. Now, my mom is just like, be happy. My mommy, I love you, mommy. She's the best for me, even though sometimes I get mad at her. Anyways, But there's a good percentage out there like, this is how you measure success. This is what you need to be successful. And this is how you do it. And it's kind of like, okay. But then, we see millennials, which would technically be our kids to some degree. Or is it the next generation? Is that?
Well, it depends upon how old of a Gen Xer you are, right?
Right.
A lot of, probably almost all of millennials are the children of Gen Xers, or maybe really old or really young boomers.
Right.
So yeah.
So okay. So and now somehow this all, I don't know what it was. I'm assuming it's the 80-20 rule. Somehow it's just like, you need a participation medal for everything. You woke up breathing today and you didn't step on the cat. Congratulations. You didn't pick your nose in the big boss's meeting. Congratulations. And we have you, here's your goal. So we have this, but now, even though we're the smallest generation, we're also the tired generation where we're like, Fafo, bitch, Fafo. I actually, because I know we've got to go because I heard the ding. I actually saw a video today and the person was just like, I don't understand how this can save my life. And it was something that was not important to anything. So I don't know if they just read what it was wrong, or I don't even want to say what it is because you're going to be like, wow. And I'd be like, I don't know if they were just trying to do like a poor parody joke or whatever, but they ended up hurting themselves. And the person who was kind of reviewing this or whatever was just like, and that's Fafo for you, motherfucker. You fuck around, you find out. You fucked around, you found out. That's what happens. Don't be so fucking stupid. And it was just like, I feel that on such a deep level because she stuck the whole thing in her mouth and about choked herself to death. Okay. And it's really stupid what it was, too. I'll tell you off camera. You guys can take a guess if you want. Maybe if you've seen the video or not. Maybe I misunderstood the video. But I just thought, just the way this guy, and he's a Gen Xer, and he was just like, fuck around, find out. You fucked around and you found out. About killed yourself over something stupid. Because they read something and took it as a literal translation. Because I'll tell you what, if it was supposed to be a joke, it was supposed to be like a parody or something, they did a really good job at playing dumb. Like, really good job. Because the look of confusion, I was just like, oh, if that was fake, Academy Award, lady. Academy Award. But anyways, we have to go. We're super late today. But hopefully you found something informative that you like. If not, oh well, it happens. Not every episode's going to be a hit for you, but it's always fun for us. Oh, I can smell that pho. It's cooked. Can you smell it? Yeah. So, all right, you guys, remember all of your basics that we ask you to please kindly do. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Please subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, even Discord. Because one day we'll have the Discord and we'll be able to do a live chat. I just got to get Bogey over here to teach me a few things about how to fucking hang up on people when they're stupid. I mean, how not to hang up on people when they're stupid.
Any fucking way.
Anyways, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Later. Jinx. Fucker.
No, you owe me a Coke. Bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody. Thanks for stopping by to enjoy the conversation. Please take a moment and comment, like, share again, and of course, subscribe. Be sure you find us on Facebook, Discord, and of course, Patreon. All right, bub, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Till next time, y'all. Take care.
Later.
Bye.
Savages.